The Colorado State logo and Colorado Department of Education logo appear center screen. The video transitions to on-screen text that reads, "Implement tasks that promote reasoning and problem solving," with the logos now at the bottom of the screen. The on-screen text transitions to new text that reads, "Effective teaching of mathematics engages students in solving and discussing tasks that promote mathematical reasoning and problem solving and allow multiple entry points and varied solution strategies. Principles to actions, NCTM." The teacher, Mrs. Hall, is standing in front of a classroom of middle school students, walking around while speaking to them. A text graphic appears on screen that reads, "Mrs. Hall's 6th grade class, Colorado Springs, Colorado." The text graphic slides away.
All right, my friends, so today what we are going to do is we're going to look at a lesson about submarines. So at your group, I want you to look at the lessons. So we're kind of sharing computers here. I want you to look at the lesson. I want you to try some different combinations to see what we mean by the submarine. And then I want you to discuss, what do you notice, what do you wonder, and what do you already know about submarines? Go.
Two students sit at a table looking at a problem on a computer. A text graphic appears on screen that reads, "What do you notice about how the submarine task was introduced and framed?" The text graphic slides away.
So what we could do is we could either add 3 anchors or subtract 3 floats.
A screenshot of the problem appears on screen. The problem shows a submarine inside a graph with the number 0 in front of it, and a star symbol below and to the right of the submarine with the number -3 by it. The problem also reads, "Collect the star." This submarine starts with 4 floats and 4 anchors. A. Discuss. Why do you think this submarine's current position is at 0 units? B. Adjust the floats and anchors to collect the star at -3 units. There are blank spaces for students to input their answers and a button that says "Check my work." The screenshot disappears and the students can be seen looking at the computer screen.
Or what we could do is remove 2 floats and 1 anchor.
A close shot of the computer screen appears, showing the students typing in their answers and clicking the button. The submarine goes down but then back up.
And all of these will work. Because
The students are back on camera looking at the computer. The video transitions showing the teacher sitting behind the students looking at the computer screen.
oh wait, no, it doesn't work.
Could you do this with only one action? Like if you reset it, could you only do it with one action?
Yeah. Okay. We could add 3 anchors and just keep the floats.
Mrs. Hall stands up and points at the computer screen.
Okay, so we figured out one action, we figured out 3 actions. Now that you're successful here, it says, why do you think the submarine's current position is at 0?
Because it starts out with the same amount of floats and anchors.
And like y'all said, that they're a 1-to-1 ratio, so theoretically, for every anchor, you have a float.
The video transitions to text on screen that reads, "Why do you think the teacher asked students to solve the problem in one step? How does that contribute to task quality?" A teacher, Mrs. Krause, and 3 students are facing the wall with a whiteboard on it. The whiteboard has a problem written on it that students are solving.
Okay, so if
A full screen graphic appears that reads, "Recognizing patterns. What do you notice and wonder?" With these numbers listed, 2 to the 4th power, 2 to the 3rd power, 2 squared, 2 to the 1st power, 2 to the 0 power, 2 to the -1 power, 2 to the -2 power, 2 to the -3 power, and 2 to the -4 power.
we are dividing by 2 each time, right? So what's happening to the exponents?
The full screen graphic disappears. A text graphic appears that reads, "Mrs. Krause's 6th grade class, Broomfield, Colorado." The text graphic slides away.
They're subtracting by 1.
Okay, so they're 1 less than before, right? All right, so if this is math is a series of patterns, right?
A full screen graphic appears that reads, "What is 2 to the 0 power? Prove your thinking." "What is 2 to the -1 power? Prove your thinking."
So that means that 2 to the 0, do you believe 2 to the 0 is 1?
The full screen text graphic is replaced by the original full screen graphic that shows the numbers listed.
Based on this pattern, and why?
Well, at first we thought it was 0 because you're doing 2 0 times.
The full screen graphic disappears, And the teacher and 3 students are seen standing looking at the problem written on the whiteboard.
Well, like with the exponent, because that's how many times you're multiplying 2 by.
Okay.
But I don't really know now.
What do you think now?
I think it's 1 because of the pattern.
Okay. So, you know how we were talking about the quotients of power property?
A text graphic appears on screen that reads, "Why does the teacher have the students prove the property in more than one way?" The text graphic slides away.
Okay, so can you write a problem where we would get 0 as the answer? Can you think of a problem using the quotient of powers?
One student writes an example of a problem on the whiteboard.
Property where we would get an answer with an exponent of 0?
Divided by 2 to the power 2.
Okay, great. So
The teacher points at the problem the student wrote on the board.
if we were to show this in expanded form, what would 2 to the second look like?
2 times 2.
Yep.
Or 2 times 2.
All right, and then this means
Division.
division. So what's 2 divided by 2?
1.
And what's 2 divided by 2?
1.
And or what's 4 divided by 4?
1.
1. So, and if we used that property, it would be, what would the answer be with a power?
1. Wait.
With a power.
Oh, with the
With
power?
yeah, with an exponent, what would the answer be?
2.
To the
1. To the 0. 0.
to the 0, right? So this is just another way to prove that something to the 0 power is equivalent to 1.
The video transitions to on-screen text that reads, "What elements that make a math task high quality did you observe and what was missing?" The video transitions to the Colorado State logo and the Colorado Department of Education logo.